now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. Seadrift leaders are tackling major issues at the sports complex with plans for a big fix in the works.
Storm drains claim another life, how outreach workers are trying to prevent more tragedy.
And if you're still waiting on the Victoria driver license office to reopen, you're not alone. Find out how much longer you might have to travel out of town.
Well, the big storms are finally pulling out of the area. A few little lingering showers possible tonight, but for tomorrow, we should see some sun and get up into the 80s. We'll be talking about that and more coming up in a moment.
And some new rules from the UIL about different changes for the volleyball playoffs this upcoming season. Hear what some of those changes are later in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shawna Currie.
And I'm Brubaker.
The Victoria driver license office is still temporarily closed for maintenance. That's according to the Texas Department of Public Safety. In the meantime, customers can visit the Port Lavaca or Cuero offices for services. DPS has also sent Victoria staff to those locations to help with the extra workload. If you had an appointment in Victoria, you should have received a notification about the change starting back in October. There is no timeline yet for repairs, but once the office reopens, appointments in Victoria will be available again. But DPS also says it could be a year or more before the office reopens. So this brings us to our viewer poll today. How are you handling the closure of the Victoria DPS office? Have you gone to another office like Port Lavaca or Cuero? Have you delayed your visit? Are you still unsure what to do? Or has it not had an impact on you? We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And half of you say it's had no impact on you. And then the other half is mostly split between still unsure what to do and went to another office. Continue voting. We'll have the latest numbers on 25 News now at 10.
A Victorian man is arrested on a warrant of continuous sex abuse of a child under 14. Today, Victoria County deputies took 48-year-old Freddie Burdick into custody on the 300 block of Matchett Road. Burdick is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $100,000 bond. The number of measles cases in Texas has risen to 400. That's a spike of 73 cases over the last 3 days. State officials said 41 of those patients had been hospitalized. As of Friday, most of the measles cases reported since January were centered in Gaines County. 2 more counties now report cases. The 73 new cases confirmed since Tuesday show the biggest surge in cases over a 3-day period since the outbreak started. Of those new cases, most of them, 44, have been in Gaines County. Most of the measles cases are in children under the age of 18. The Victoria Metro unemployment rate rises in February to 4.2%, the same as 1 year ago, and 0.1% higher than the month before. The state unemployment rate for February is 4.1%. 421 more workers are employed in the Victoria area than a year ago, with the labor force increased by about 450 workers. More than 20,000 Texas jobs were added in February.
The Lavaca County community is invited to make a real impact at the 3rd annual Lavaca River Cleanup. This event scheduled for Saturday, April 5th in downtown Hallettsville. Things kick off at 8 a.m. Everyone will split into 2 teams and get to work. In just 45 minutes, volunteers will tackle trash and leave the river looking better than ever. Last year's crews had a blast and walked away feeling great about giving back to the community. This annual cleanup aims to improve the Lavaca River's condition and promote environmental awareness.
Well, some more rain today in the Crossroads, but it seems to be tapering off some. I actually saw the sun for like 5 nanoseconds this afternoon. Yeah.
Well, those rivers will be coming up a little bit as everything kind of moves off the roadways and everything. Let's go over to Mac Perez for a first look at our weekend forecast. Mac?
It really is amazing to me that, we'd been 6 months without any significant rainfall. I mean, the last time we got this kind of rain was in last July, and then all of a sudden in 2 days we get the downpour. Well, here's the city, and you can see how most of the big stuff is actually pulled away. A few little sprinkle showers are possible, but the main event is now moved to Louisiana. They've got a big tornado watch to deal with for tonight as the stormy weather moves in that direction. We'll take an analysis of how much rainfall we got in the area over the past couple of days coming up in just a few minutes. We'll toss it back to you, Don.
A woman found dead after being swept away by heavy rainfall in the San Antonio area on Sunday had been living in a storm drain, according to the victim's friend.
Her death highlights the dangers many face when seeking shelter in flood-prone areas.
Storm drains are designed to collect and funnel water, and it doesn't take much rain for the flow and current to pick up steam. You've been swept away. Do you know anybody else who's been swept away who might not have made it?
Yeah, my buddy Red. And Miss D just died 2 or 3 days ago.
Bobby Shaner's been living on the streets for about 6 years. He explains many experiencing homelessness live in the storm drain tunnels, including his friend Miss D, 61-year-old Delilah Jimenez, who he says was staying in a drain near Babcock and Fredericksburg Road.
They couldn't find her. I was hoping she was at somebody's house, but they found the body at Woodlawn.
This week, a jogger spotted Jimenez's body in Woodlawn Lake. Bexar County Medical Examiner ruled her death an accidental drowning. Shaner says the weekend rain is responsible.
Hello, anybody home? Anybody in here?
It highlights that the work of city and nonprofits who do street outreach can be the difference between life and death.
A lot of these storm drains.
Definitely, yeah.
This is almost all the time occurrence, or?
Yeah.
We tagged along with Amir Hussein, who works with Haven for Hope. He does outreach on a daily basis.
Haven for Hope Street Outreach. Just got some stuff for you.
He explains on rainy days.
Strong that current is right there in the middle. Yeah.
Checking on water passageways is crucial.
If it was to knock someone off their feet and send them down one of these tunnels, what do you think the chances of surviving might be?
And this tunnel is probably pretty long, so probably not very good chances.
It's a grim reminder of what can and already has happened to Jimenez.
She could hear you right now. Is there anything you'd say to her?
I love you, Miss D. Rest in peace.
3 deaths are reported after heavy rains along the Texas-Mexico border. Rescues are still ongoing for residents trapped in their home after the storms. Harlingen officials say the city received more than 21 inches of rain, while the National Weather Service says between 6 and 12 inches of rain fell in other parts of South Texas in the past 24 hours. Harlingen officials also say more than 200 residents have been rescued, with 100 water rescues reported in the city of Alamo.
Superior Health Plan's CEO, whom lawmakers grilled about the company's alleged hiring of private investigators, was reportedly fired after the inquiry was announced. To read the full Texas Tribune article, visit crossroadstoday.com. The city of Seadrift will not be hearing the cracking of bats this spring at the local sports complex. City leaders say a temporary safety solution is not enough to fully resolve issues at the fields.
25 News Now weekend anchor Amaya Norman joins us with details. Amaya?
Yes, Don and Shawna, this is the issue. City leaders are working hard to address ongoing concerns at the sports complex, but after further evaluation, they've determined a more extensive fix is necessary. The facility is in need of a major electrical overhaul in collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce. City leaders are gathering quotes so they can fund and implement the necessary repairs. Mayor Pro Tem Tracy Johnson says the safety of residents, especially children, is what's most important.
Our littles that we just love out there, and I know it's Little League season, their care, their safety is my #1 concern. It was not an easy decision to come to, but we needed to go ahead and make that call. I don't want to see anyone get hurt.
There's no set timeline for when the park will reopen. City leaders are urging patience as they work towards a long-term solution. Until those issues are fixed, the ball field and park will remain closed. Shawna and Dawn, back to you.
Well, it is time to get ready to vote. You must be registered by April 3rd to be eligible to vote in May. Early voting runs April 22nd through April 29th. Mail-in ballot applications are due by April 22nd, and Election Day is May 3rd.
Texas Comptroller Glenn Hagar was confirmed today as the next chancellor of the Texas A&M University system. The Texas A&M Board of Regents unanimously confirmed Hagar's appointment. Hagar, a 1993 graduate of Texas A&M, is set to take over one of the nation's largest university systems, educating 11 universities and 8 state agencies with a budget of more than $7.3 billion. Hagar was first elected comptroller in 2014. He won re-election in 2018 and 2022. John Sharp of Placido, the longest-serving chancellor in A&M system history, is stepping down on June 30th after almost 14 years. There's another chance to catch the latest episode of Let's Grow Texas Ag. It will air Saturday morning at 11 on KXTS. We are also streaming on Zeem, so don't forget to tune in to Let's Grow Texas Ag.
And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, Vice President J.D. Vance is in Greenland meeting U.S. troops.
Also ahead, the VA may be laying off thousands of employees due to budget cuts.
Here's a look at what you can expect on Community Crossroads. We hear from the Restoration House Ministries, the Victoria ISD. We learn about BPI home tours and Keep Victoria Beautiful.
Be able to clean up a lot of places all over Victoria, right?
Yeah.
Because the bigger impact, the more people, the bigger impact. So we'll put you what we call it as a remote location, and we'll get you set up with supplies. You'll come and get them.
Vice President J.D. Vance highlights the importance of Greenland to military members at the U.S. space base Pituffik. In his remarks to the Guardians, Vance said that Denmark has let the people of Greenland down, and he encouraged the people of Greenland to join the United States. During a recent election in the territory, the eventual winner told NBC News International partner Sky News that they don't want to be Americans, they want to be Greenlanders. Mass layoffs are coming for the Department of Veterans Affairs. The VA secretary saying the department is looking at laying off about 80,000 employees to increase efficiency.
Lee Waldman spoke to some VA employees who are worried these cuts will impact their ability to serve veterans.
The veterans just aren't going to get taken care of the way they should be.
Fears are mounting for Veterans Affairs employees and their union representation, American Federation of Government Employees, over sweeping layoffs planned for the department. Veteran Affairs Secretary Doug Collins says the VA is aiming to cut its staff by some 80,000, about 17% of its workforce.
Money and people are not the issue. So what we're looking at here is, are we spending, the money properly, and are we having the right amount of employees, or do we have just too much bureaucracy?
According to an internal memo obtained by CNN earlier this month, reduction in force and reorganization plans will be submitted by April 13th and revealed in June when cuts will begin. Jonathan Geller, the vice president of an AFGE branch in New York, worries about the impact on veterans they help.
This is going to affect all patient care. As a whole. I mean, from the call centers, from eligibility to benefits, to the crisis line, to member services lines.
Erica Alexander is a crisis responder on the Veterans Crisis Hotline. She believes layoffs will leave veterans without critical safety nets and mental health support.
I think it's going to be hard to make sure that no calls go unanswered.
They gave so much for their country, but Geller worries the country won't be able to give back to them.
This was a promise. We promised these men and women to care for them.
Two high-profile law firms, Jenner Block and Wilmer Hale, are suing the U.S. government over President Trump's executive order. The order, issued earlier this week, suspends the firm's lawyers' security clearances and limits their access to government buildings and federal contracts. The restrictions stem from the firm's connections to Robert Mueller's investigation into Trump's ties to Russia during the 2016 election.
Well, good evening, everybody. We are looking at the stormy weather pulling away. You can see it right about there, how things are clearing up for us. Right now, the biggest stuff is happening over Louisiana with possible tornadoes there. We'll take a look at your weekend and your 7th day coming up in a moment. Stay tuned. Well, it has been an eventful couple of days. We have not had this kind of rain since last July. All of a sudden, here it is, and it's a good time. I mean, this is spring planting season for a lot of farmers. I'm pretty sure they're fairly happy. Look at this. This is the storm total over the last 3 days, 3.75 at Victoria, not at Victoria, but in the city. 3.15 in Corpus Christi. Placido got 2.45. Port Lavaca got almost 4 inches, and Goliad got 4 inches for sure. This is a map of the 24-hour rainfall totals, and it gives you a pretty good indication. I mean, here is the city. The county to the north toward Cuero didn't get as heavy the rain, but from here down to the coast got significant. In fact, they've got rainfall totals that are impressive, but nothing like this. This is a biblical rain, folks. This is the Rio Grande Valley, and you can see that they're off the charts. I mean, we have 7 inches as the top. They had 19, 20 inches of rainfall in this area, and massive flooding. A lot of it, of course, is rolling off very rapidly, but the last time this happened was, I believe, Hurricane Beulah back in the 60s, where they got 20 inches of rain. So all the way down the old Highway 83, they were having problems with flooding. Lots of folks had flooding in their houses. And imagine all those car dealerships along the highway there that got rained on as well. Well, here's Victoria. You can see how all the rain has pulled away. Tonight, the focus of the severe weather rolls into Louisiana. All this in red is actually a tornado watch that'll be in effect. Another view of the city. You can see the last rain shower sort of moving out from Jackson County and on into Matagorda County as well. And again, there's where the storm center, and you can see the circulation. This is is the thing that's been causing the problems for the last couple of days, and boy, it was one for the record books. So all of our watches and warnings have been lowered. We have no problems. We got great rain. Considering the amount of rain that we got, we didn't have any problems. Tonight, the problems are along the Texas border in Louisiana, where the heavy weather is occurring. So we take a big view and see what else is happening for us. You can see how everything is pulled away. So that one's gone. It's not coming back, all right? We take a look out here. We've got this little front that's actually going to make it to our area probably on Monday, but it's not a major front. In fact, all it's going to do is maybe give us some dry air. This is the future tracker, and you can see what's going to be happening. Cloud deck is going to thin out. Tomorrow, 1 or 2 little sprinkle showers, but you can see how all the heavy rain does pull away from our area. And by the time we get to Sunday, rather, we may start seeing some of the fog and low clouds will sort of redevelop for the area, and we'll wait for that little front to see what it does. Overnight lows tonight getting down to only the mid-60s, so not particularly cold. And tomorrow, with a little sun, we'll warm up into the 80s. How about that? Things will be looking good. It'll be a little humid after all the rainfall, but hey, we needed it badly. So here's your forecast for Port Lavaca, looking at mostly cloudy skies in the morning, then afternoon sun, 1 or 2 sprinkles left over. Cuero, you're looking pretty good, getting up to a little bit of sunshine. That'll get you up into the low 80s. And of course, the grass and the wildflowers are going to go nuts over the next couple of weeks. So sunny skies are partly cloudy at least Saturday, Sunday, little front on Monday with slightly cooler weather. And there you see how we'll stay in the 80s all the way through the next 7 days. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads a Day on your phone. And here's Shawna.
All right, thank you, Mac. Well, now we send it over to Max Williams for sports. And Max, already thinking about Friday Night Lights.
Exactly. Again, I'm already ready for that time for CFL because Victoria East today revealed their 2025 football schedule. I'll tell you some of their big games this coming season. Coming up in sport.
Get ready for the madness. Think you know college hoops? Prove it. Enter the Final Four Frenzy presented by Coastal Bend College. Put your bracket up against sports director Max Williams and weekend sports reporter Ray Robinson. Dribble on over to crossroadstoday.com to enter on the contest page. Win it all and score a family 4-pack with a hotel stay and a round of golf for 2 at Moody Gardens in Galveston. The Final Four Frenzy presented by Coastal Bend College. Brackets lock soon. Enter now.
All right, happy Friday here, Crossroads. But to start our sports block here tonight, we're going to head to volleyball here where they had some new rules for the UIL. They announced they're going to implement a pilot program next year for the volleyball and state semifinals matchups, which the difference is it'll be held at common sites across Texas, not at Curtis Caldwell Center, which it usually was there for the state semifinals. Again, for the state championships, they will still be there at the Caldwell Center, and so schools will have to make that decision when they get to that again. When it gets close for the state semifinals, they will have to choose where they want to go on the common sites. Now over to Victoria East and Victoria West. They're still battling each other again tonight at Riverside Stadium here on Tuesday night. East beat West 12-7 in a thriller. They're looking for a sweep here tonight. Again, we'll have highlights later on. We'll have post-game interviews as well from both teams there on 25 News Now at 10. Speaking of some early day baseball, though, we had one with Goliad facing Stockdale earlier today. And again, Goliad won this game, or actually is up, pardon me, right now. It's not won yet, but they're looking like they will. 19-0 already in the lead there over Stockdale. They're playing there at Kennedy High School because, again, of their field not being able to play. And again, they got some big production there from Caden Kaka, has been huge as well, and Cy Henke has been huge. So both of those players making plays there for Goliad. Again, already up 19-0 and pretty secure that they're probably going to win that game there, finishing off. Over to the regional semifinals in soccer, we got both El Campo men's and women's teams playing tonight. First with the Ladybirds facing the Hampshire Faniot Longhorns. This game did start at 6 o'clock there at Pridgeon Stadium there at Cy-Far, Texas. So winner will face either the Lorena Leopards or the Hardin-Jefferson Hawks. They're in the regional final there next week. Over to the El Campo boys soccer team. They're facing the Royal Falcons tonight in a matter of 30 minutes there at Mercer Stadium just outside of Sugar Land, Texas. If El Campo can win, they're going to face the Needville Blue Jays there in the regional finals. Now back to some football action where the 2025 football schedule has been released for the Victoria East Titans. First, East will open up this season at home versus Georgetown. Then the week after that, they're going to face the rival Victoria West at Memorial Stadium there on September 5th. And round out the schedule, they're going to have 6 home games total for East. They're going to have 4 road games, with all the road games being they're traveling to Gregory Portland, New Braunfels, Bernie Champion, and Smithson Valley. So that is all their road games, 4 road games for them, and then 6 home games to wrap it up. Now over to some March Madness tonight. The Houston Cougars are set to face off the Purdue Boilermakers. It's going to plan to start at 9:10 approximately. But before tonight's game, Houston Cougars basketball star Milo Zuzon and head coach Calvin Sampson talked about what are the expectations for tonight's game.
I think we just keep setting goals for ourselves and we keep hitting them. So I feel like we got one more goal we want to go out there and reach, and we're on the right path right now.
Really don't look at it like that. I don't coach against Matt Painter. We coach against Matt Painter's team, and his team is good enough to beat just about anybody.
I hear a little bit of anger and, again, determination there from head coach Calvin Sampson. We'll see if that kind of energy translates over to their game tonight versus Purdue, because if they win, they'll either face Kentucky or Tennessee in the Elite Eight. That's going to do it here in sports. Don and Shawna, back to you.
Max, thank you, and we're back in a moment. Antoinette and Brucey Baby, believed to be the world's oldest geckos, are found on a New Zealand island. Finally tonight, a pair of 60-year-old geckos found on a small island in New Zealand could be the world's oldest. Antoinette and Brucey Baby were trapped by a team of scientists during a 5-year survey. Scientists say these geckos are at least 60 and 64 years old. That's far older than the average lifespan of geckos worldwide. The main reason scientists think these may have lived so long, the island has no predators or invasive species. Scientists will be back in 5 years in hopes of finding the marked geckos again. They have a little mark on them now from those explorers who found 60-year-old and
My question is,
64.
how do they know how old they are?
They had a birthday party.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, do they look at their
I don't
teeth?
know.
I don't, you know.
That's pretty amazing.
You know what I'm
I mean,
saying?
they're that long. I mean, what do
Not
you look
even that
under its
long.
belly?
Yeah,
How do you figure
yeah.
that
The
out?
amazing part is they're small and they blew out all the birthday candles. I mean, really, that's what it is.
They're in really good shape.
Yeah, I think so.
Because they've got no predators chasing them. Good stuff. Well, folks, the weekend is here and the rain is gone. We're looking for maybe a sprinkle or two left over tomorrow morning early. Other than that, we're looking for sunshine tomorrow afternoon, and that's going to get the temperature back up into the 80s. Little front on Monday, just going to dry the air out and not anything cooling by any stretch of the imagination. We should stay rain-free. Well, I can't say rain-free. I'm just a sprinkle or two, but staying in the mid-80s right on through the next 7 days.
Very good. Thank you, Matt, and thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.